Hi, welcome to the Diabetes and Blood Sugar Workshop. My name's Kala Hewlett, and I want to thank you for joining me for this presentation. If you know anybody who would benefit from this information, please feel free to share this link with them. We're going to keep this link up from now till the end of the month, so through October 31st. Again, share it with as many people as you like. We want to get this message out there. People ask, well, why now, Doc? November is just around the corner, and November is Diabetes Awareness Month. It's an epidemic that's affecting millions of Americans. Many of our friends and family are affected by diabetes. So I want to get you some information on some different options and solutions you can do to address this problem. Now, I'm primarily going to be addressing type 2 diabetics, or what's known as non-insulin dependent diabetics. And that's the majority of the cases that we see now. As far as diabetes, it's a massive, massive epidemic, as I mentioned. Here are just some what I call the gee whiz statistics. Right now, there's 29 million Americans that have diabetes. It's the seventh leading cause of death in America. And out of the children that were born in 2000, statistically, they tell us one-third of all children born in 2000 will have diabetes, be diagnosed. Not because they're born with it, but they will develop it. Type 2 diabetes used to be nicknamed adult onset diabetes. But they had to change the name because more and more younger people, even children, are getting diagnosed with this non-insulin dependent, also known as adult onset. So they had to quit saying adult onset because kids are getting it. All right? Now, also that same generation that was born in 2000, one-third of which will be diagnosed with diabetes, they predict that's the first generation that will die before their parents. They are not expected to outlive their parents. Not because of their genetically dysfunctional, but because of the lifestyle choices, because of the things that we're doing to harm our body. The choices we make are causing us to die sooner than we should. So my point with today is to create an awareness that moves you into action. This isn't just to give you information, because there's tons of information out there on the internet. It's to give you specific information, but more importantly, to create a change. So when we're done watching this, that you hit close on your phone or your web browser and you make a change today. Because if you don't make a change, things are just going to stay the same. As far as what's triggering this epidemic, we're going to talk about several things in the next few minutes, but one of the things we need to look at immediately is sugar. Sugar is everywhere. You can't escape it. People often say, well, Doc, how much sugar should I be intaking on a regular basis per day? And here's what the American Heart Association has said. For men, 37.5 grams a day. Men, 37.5 grams a day. For women, 25 grams a day. Now, some of you think, well, gosh, that's a lot. I don't consume near that amount. Let me just share with you some information. A 32-ounce bottle of Gatorade, which it's football season. My kids are playing sports. One's in volleyball, one's in flag football. There's Gatorade everywhere. A 32-ounce bottle of Gatorade, how many grams of sugar do you think it has? 5 grams, 10 grams, maybe 20? 32-ounce bottle of Gatorade, on average, 56 grams of sugar. 56 grams of sugar. That's more than double what the adult woman should have, and significantly higher than what the adult men should have. And that's just in one drink. That doesn't include anything else they've consumed throughout the day. A can of Coke, 12 ounces. Right? And most people don't even drink 12 ounces. We get these large jumbo sizes now, but 12 ounces of Coke, how many sugars does that have? On average, 39 grams. And here's one that really blew me away. There's this health fruit juice, which years ago when we were out visiting California, some family, my wife and I came across it. It was called Naked Juice, and it was a small company at the time. We're like, man, this stuff is great. Well, we've kind of followed it over the years. And I was at the store just the other day, and I picked up a bottle, being aware of sugars and counting those. A bottle of Naked fruit juice, on average, how many sugars do you think that would have? 5, 10, right? Because it's supposed to be healthier for us, maybe 20. 50 to 60 grams of sugar. 50 to 60 grams of sugar in one bottle of health juice. So my point with this is you can't escape, and these are all added sugars that I'm talking about. You can't escape the added sugars, but you're going to have to be more aware, more alert in the decisions you're making in regards to that. Now, as far as what I call collateral damage, well, people say, well, what's the big deal? I got high blood sugar, so what? I got diagnosed with diabetes type 2, I'm non-insulin dependent. So what? Well, here's the so what. It's what we call collateral damage. And this is even people taking medication. Just understand, if you're a type 2 diabetic, these are some things that are going to happen. Statistically, 68% of people with diabetes will develop heart disease. 60% of all amputations in this country are a direct result of diabetes. 70% of diabetics will develop neuropathy, numbness, tingling, pain sensations in their hands and feet. I can't tell you the number of patients I see that can't feel their feet. And you may have seen people like this. When they walk, they look down at their feet or they have a slight shuffle. It's because they don't know where their feet are. They can't feel them because their diabetes has been out of control for so many years that now it's damaged the small blood vessels and they've lost sensory. It's damaged the nerves. Also, it leads to hypothyroid and causes a two-increase infold in dementia. So side effects that personally I don't want to have to deal with if I don't have to. Another thing is we look at the cost of it. Again, the people that say, well, diabetes, so what? If you're diagnosed with diabetes when you're 30 years old, type 2 diabetes, statistically it says it's going to cost you about $305,000 in care through the course of your life. And I'll tell you, I think that number is on the low end. Because if you have diabetes and you have to have an amputation or you have heart disease or a heart attack, it's going to cost you, you can run up $50,000, $60,000 in a hospital within just a couple of days. So I think that's a very conservative number. Well, you're watching this, so I'm assuming you know diabetes and blood sugar is a problem for you. So what's the solution? Really, you have two solutions. One, you take medication, or two, you make the necessary lifestyle changes. What are you going to do? All right. One thing I want you to remember as I go through these next few items, you cannot medicate your way out of a lifestyle program. You cannot medicate your way out of a lifestyle problem. Right? If the problem was created by lifestyle choices such as you're eating too much sugar, you can't medicate your way out of that. You're going to have to make some lifestyle changes. Now, I'm not here to bash medication. Right? It's great. It definitely has a role. There's several benefits to it, but it's knowing when to take it and when not to. I'll tell you, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not going to tell you to stop taking your medication. What I'm going to do is present some facts. I'm just here to inform you, to educate you, in hopes that you can create some changes in your life that will lead to a healthier, more fulfilling life. That way you can do the things you love to do. All right, so we're going to talk about what I call some of the myths. We're going to do some myth busting. All right, a lot of times people will come to me and say, hey doc, I got diabetes, but I'm fine. It's under control. All right, I take medication, no need to worry about it. Here's the statistics. Remember, these are people that take medication. 68% of diabetics will develop heart disease. 60% of diabetics will have amputation. 70% will develop neuropathy. This is even with the management by medication. All right? A lot of the medication for diabetes type 2 will increase your insulin levels. Insulin is a fat-storing hormone. It takes sugar from the bloodstream and puts it in the body and stores it as fat. So by increasing the insulin, you increase your fat storage, which means you're going to increase your fat. You're going to gain weight. Right? Does that sound like something fun? Something you want? Most people I know don't want to gain weight. So just understand these are some of what we call the collateral damage or side effects. Whenever you take a medication, there's multiple effects, and often they'll call those side effects. For example, metformin or glucophage, that's a popular medication, right? Be aware that there's specific contraindications, and these are on the labels. It's in the fine print. It says if you have a risk for cardiovascular disease, right, that's a contraindication for taking metformin. Statistically, it says metformin can increase your chances of dying from cardiovascular problems by 2.5 times, right? 75% of all the people with diabetes, if you have diabetes, 75% of you will eventually die of heart disease if this isn't taken care of. So anything that's going to potentially increase that risk, you want to avoid if at all possible. You know, another popular medication, Actos. Actos actually settled a class action lawsuit for $2.37 billion last year in 2015. Why? Because they underreported, they falsified the side effects, right? They didn't want to make it seem as serious because they knew that it affects sales. So heart failure, stroke, cancer, suicide, homicidal ideation, okay, were some of the things that they hid from the reports. Again, I'm not here to tell you to stop taking this, just to bring an awareness to that. Another medication that's popular, Januvia, right? According to the Journal of Gastroenterology in 2011, by taking Januvia, you have a 3-time greater risk of developing pancreatic cancer. Avandia, another popular one. This was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2007. It said between 1999 and 2007, Avandia was responsible for an estimated 83,000 heart attacks. Like, so my point in sharing with you this isn't to make you scared or try to create this. It's simply to say, look, even if you think things are managed by medication, if there's a possibility that through lifestyle change you can get off the medication, know that you also get off those side effects, right? Of course, before you stop taking medication, consult with your medical doctor and work with them on that. Now, another organization which is out there which is supposed to be helping us is the Diabetes Association of America. And they've recommended a low-fat diet for years. Now, decades ago, there was this debate amongst healthcare policymakers. It was, well, who's the bad guy? Is fat the bad guy or is sugar the bad guy? And they went back and forth, and there was experts on both sides of the fence. And ultimately, fat got labeled the bad guy. And going back for decades now, we've heard fat is bad. We came out with low-fat foods. No one's talked about sugar. And silently over the decades, diabetes has increased, more sugars added. When you take the fat out of the food, you take the flavor out as well. Well, if there's no flavor, we're not going to eat it. So you have to replace that with something. And most commonly, they're replacing it with sugar over the years. That's why if you've eaten a lot of low-fat foods over the years, you've probably gained weight. Low fat means you're going to gain some fat, all right? So there was a really neat study that Harvard did in 2010, December 2010. Harvard did a study and it showed a diet high in fat. Now, let me tell you, good fat, not Twinkies fat, healthy, good fat. Avocado's a good fat, for example. Certain meats have good fats to them. Salmon has good fats to it. But anyways, a high-fat diet consisting of saturated fats found in meat and dairy products actually had a threefold decrease in type 2 diabetes. Okay? So, food for thought, things to think about. All right? Some of the other things which need to be addressed. Why does this develop? How does it happen? There's something in the body called cellular inflammation. Right? The way your body communicates, we're composed of billions and billions and billions of cells. And that's how our body functions. When you get something what's called cellular inflammation, the cells don't work like they're supposed to anymore. Think of it like the cell wall's on fire and it doesn't communicate. When you have cellular inflammation, the good stuff can't get into the cell, the bad stuff can't get out. Hormones can't communicate with each other as well. Hormones that help regulate blood sugar levels, okay, those don't work as well. Cellular inflammation, here's a quote from a journal. It says, inflammation seems to underlie not just with deterioration with age, but all chronic illness that often come along with it. Diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart attack, cognitive function, premature aging, and even cancer. Okay, all connected to cellular inflammation. And there's three things that trigger cellular inflammation that you need to be aware of. Three things that you need to stop doing if you're a type 2 diabetic and you want to be able to naturally help regulate your blood sugar levels. Toxins, bad fats, and sugars. I've talked to you about sugars already. Look at the label. Remember, added sugars, if you're a woman, 25 grams or less a day. If you're a man, 37.5 grams or less a day in added sugars. Okay, just stop it. Look at the labels. Stop eating so much sugar. Bad fats. Let's talk about that. There's multiple studies that have shown bad fats cause inflammation to the cell membrane, like I talked about, which can lead to type 2 diabetes. There was a Nurses Health study. There was a University of Pittsburgh study. And even the Harvard study showed the relationship of bad fats causing inflammation to the cell, which can lead to type 2 diabetes, and good fats, which can heal the cell membrane and help regulate your body so it can naturally keep blood sugar levels at a healthy level. Another thing you want to be aware of is whole grains. All right, whole grains, we used to think whole wheat, whole grain, those are good things, right? Well, there was a study done a while back, and in this study they looked at 2 slices of whole wheat bread, and they also looked at a can of Coke. And they said, all right, let's have someone drink a can of Coke, let's have someone else eat 2 slices of bread, of whole wheat bread, and see what it does to the blood sugar levels over the course of several hours. And what they found, right, was that the whole wheat toast actually raised your blood sugar levels higher than the Coke did. And here's why. This goes back to Dr. Norman Borlaug, who actually won a Nobel Prize. In certain countries, they don't have access to food like we do here. And so he created this hybridized form of wheat. which has a significantly higher amount of sugar than typical wheat did. We'll go back, 50 years ago or even a century ago. So it's higher in sugar. Now, if that's the only thing you're eating all day in some of these third world countries, that's fine. But we're blessed abundantly here in this country, and we eat more than 1-2 slices a day. So what he did was he helped increase by consuming smaller amounts of grains, it would increase your blood sugar. Okay? Well, other countries great, but here we don't need that. We don't need that high spike because we're getting sugars from enough of the other sources. So going back, cut out the bad fats, cut out the grains. Now, you know what bad fats are. If not, pull it up online. There's going to be a long list. Twinkies are bad fats. Okay, man-made fats are bad fats. If it's greasy and leaves that residue in your hand, it's a bad fat. All right. Now, the other thing which triggers cellular inflammation is toxins. Okay. There's actually research that they've done, and some say 1/3 of all type 2 diabetics are caused by toxins. It's called toxin-induced insulin resistance. It's an actual condition, toxin-induced insulin resistance. And toxins are everywhere. Now, some people will also say, well, I thought diabetes was only for people that were overweight. How does this skinny person get diagnosed with diabetes in their adulthood? And that's where some experts said it's because of the toxins, which causes the inflammation in the cell, like I talked about. Cell can't communicate, body can't properly regulate blood sugar levels, you get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So be aware that toxins, whether it's smoke, secondhand smoke, cosmetic products that we may use, and shampoos, we're all exposed to tons of toxins every day. It's just, what are you doing to help your body detoxify, and how many toxins are we adding to it? We get enough just in our normal day-to-day life in contact, but be aware that toxins are a huge part of creating cellular inflammation. So the 3 things that you need to reduce your sugar intake, okay, get rid of the bad fats, and reduce your toxic exposure. Those 3 things will help your body be able to better communicate and help be able to balance your blood sugar levels. Now, those are some things to avoid. Now, I want to break it down in what I call, here's what the solution that I'm offering. 3 points. One I already talked about, the stop list, right? Again, stop the sugar, stop the bad fats, stop the toxins. And then what I call the start list, the 2 things. Start exercising. There's 2 types of exercises. There's more walking, we call cardiovascular in nature, right? And there's weight training, also cardiovascular in nature, but people usually divide those into 2. They call it cardio and weight training. So you need to be walking, running, bike riding, doing something for 20-30 minutes a day. At a minimum, just walk. Take 20-30 minutes a day and walk. The weather's cooling down, walk, bike, row. Do something you enjoy, but do it to 20-30 minutes a day, every day. A lot of people I talk to will say, Doc, I exercise pretty regularly. I ask them what they do. They say, we walk. That's only half of the equation. You also need to do some sort of resistance training. What I mean by resistance training, that can be weight training, that can be resistance bands, it can be push-ups, it can be pull-ups. There's many forms, but it's going to be something that's going to challenge your muscles. When you work your muscles harder, right, your body needs fuel to help rebuild them, and it's going to consume more glucose or sugar, so that's going to help lower your blood sugar levels. At a minimum, whenever you're done eating, go for a walk. But exercise, 20-30 minutes of walking or something like that a day. Weight training 2 to 3 times a day. If you have trouble with that, find a buddy, find a friend. Go to a gym, hire a trainer. I have a good friend that for years they would try different exercise programs. They'd do it for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a month at best. Then they'd fall off the wagon, something would happen. And they would exercise at their house on a regular basis. This particular person I'm thinking of finally went and got a personal trainer. They went to their gym and said, look, I've been doing this on my own for years off and on. I can't do it consistently. Help me. And they went and hired a personal trainer. Now, the trainer helped them, but here was the big benefit. Hiring a personal trainer made them accountable. And they said, when I didn't feel like going to the gym, and normally I would have just turned my car back around and went home, I now went to the gym because, 1, I'd paid for it, so I didn't want to waste my money, and 2, I knew the trainer was going to get on me if I didn't show up. So if you fall in that category, you need some accountability, invest some time, energy, and money into finding someone to work out with or even getting a personal trainer. It will help. Number 3, You need to heal the damaged tissue. If your high amounts of blood sugar, if the toxins and the bad fats have damaged it, you're going to have to heal it. I look at it like this. It's kind of like if there was a fire in a building, you got to put the fire out first. That's step one. Putting the fire out is what we're doing when we're taking away the bad fats, the sugars, the toxins. We're helping suffocate the fire. Once the fire is put out now, there's damage that's done to the structure. You need to heal it. You're going to have to get rid of the damaged tissue. You're going to have to rebuild it. If it's a house, get rid of the burnt wood. You have to rebuild new structures in place. You're going to have to heal the damaged area. That's exactly what we have to do with your body when it comes to type 2 diabetes. If their cells are damaged and dysfunctional, we need to help them work better. We need to help them heal. One of the really cool things about being human is our body likes to heal. It's always trying to do that. If you've ever cut yourself in the yard work, or maybe even cut yourself shaving, you know you start to bleed, but within a short period of time, it stops bleeding, maybe it scabs, and your body will heal that wound. Just like your body can heal cuts and scrapes on your skin, your body can heal damaged cells on the inside of your body. It's a pretty neat phenomenon, right? But it happens on a daily basis. So you need to heal the damaged tissue inside the body through diet and through specific nutrition, right? That's what you need to do in addition to what I've talked about. And so, we've given workshops over the years and said, hey, these are the dietary changes you need to make. These are the things to do, not do. And people would leave our workshops excited, but they said, look, I need something, and I want something more specific. I want something that's going to map it out. I want something that's user-friendly. One of my favorite books is, they have a series of books called like Windows for Dummies or How to Do This for Dummies. And at first I was kind of offended. But as I started to read some of those books, I said, this is great. It breaks it down to the basic level. There's certain things that I'm really good at. There's other things that I don't have the knowledge, training in. So I need someone to walk it through. I need baby steps. I need step-by-step, tell me exactly what to do. So patients have come to me and said, hey, give me something step-by-step, specifically that outlines what do I do when I wake up? How much water should I drink? What supplements do I need to take? What type of food should I be eating? How do I do that? So we've answered the call, and we have the 10-day blood sugar support program. 10-day blood sugar support program. It's a 10-day program. If you follow it exactly to the T, you will notice changes in your blood sugar level. Your body likes to heal. It wants to heal. But it's not just doing this program. It's doing the things I've talked about. Stop the bad stuff, bad fat, sugar, toxins. Okay. Start exercising, and 10-day blood sugar support program. Like I said, it maps out everything from A to Z that you need, specific dietary things. It even has a journal, so it keeps you accountable on what are you eating, what are you not eating, how much are you exercising, what should be in your pantry, what supplements to take, what time of day. Everything's outlined for you. Right? All you got to do is follow the instructions, and you're going to see results. What type of results you might be thinking? This is from someone who did the program recently. They said, prior to my blood sugar program, my numbers range consistently from 160 to 250 on a daily basis. This is for several years. This is even with multiple attempts to try to regulate it. During the program, I noticed that I wasn't as tired. My cravings had subsided. I felt better when I ate. They felt better when they ate because their body was able to heal. Remember I talked about that inflammation? Insulin started working better. They go on to say, I actually started to crave a more balanced diet. Here's the deal. Your body likes a good food. Right? When you eat a bunch of crappy food, you're going to feel crappy. When you eat good food, you're going to feel good. And after you do that for several days, your body says, hey, give us some more of that good food. And you'll notice when you eat the good food, you feel good. And your body say, hey, give me some more of those vegetables. I like the way you feel. And then when you eat some crappy food, your body's going to let you know, gosh, I kind of felt crappy. I don't want that again. They go on to say, after completing my program, my numbers, and this was after a 10-day program, my numbers have ranged from 90 to 110 on a daily basis. I feel better. My sleep has improved tremendously as well. So think about it. This individual, their blood sugar levels got cut in half in a 10-day period. They were in the 160 to 250 neighborhood. Now they're in the 90 to 110 neighborhood. And they did the things that we outlined. Stop the bad stuff. Okay, get on the 10-day support program. Allow your body to heal. So here's what we're going to do. With Diabetes Awareness next month, those of you who say, hey, I'm ready to take action, not only the action that I've talked about that you can do on your own, but you want to begin to heal the damaged tissue, you want to be able to have a step-by-step program, because of Diabetes Awareness Month, we're doing our 10-day blood sugar support program, which outlines everything you need to do, as well as you have access to myself. I'll give you my personal email. That way, weekends, morning, evenings, you can shoot me an email if you have any questions, and I can help you through this step by step. You'll support in my office as well. Normally, the program is $224. Because of the Diabetes Awareness next month, we're offering the program for $179. That's $179 between now and the end of the month. All you have to do is call the office. If you're a patient, just let us know when you come in. Better yet, just shoot us an email. You can email frontdesk@backpaincenteroftexas.com. That's frontdesk@backpaincenteroftexas.com. Brandy will check that and she'll get back with you and get everything ordered for you. I appreciate you hanging out with me these last 25 minutes or so. I hope you've learned something. Again, awareness we've been created. Now lead this to a state of action. Do something different after watching this video. Begin to make the changes in your life. If you want something different, if you're not happy with your current level of health, if you want to change your blood sugar, if you want to change your energy, if you want to improve your health, you're going to have to start doing some things different. And I'm here to help you do that. So have a great one. Shoot us an email. Give us a call as well at 936-494-1222. A few different ways. Call or email. Those would probably be the best way. Call the office or shoot us the email. That's frontdesk@backpaincenteroftexas.com. Say, hey, I saw the blood sugar presentation Dr. You'll put online. Sign me up for the program. Again, normally $224. Let us know between now and October 31st. We'll get it ordered for you. It's only $179. Have a great one, and hope to see you soon.